Hello my dear friends. In this tutorial we will learn Python Flask and we will learn the CRUD operation in Flask. It's a very simple micro framework. You can design RESTful APIs and probably very good medium-sized web applications, and it's very simple and easy to learn. By the end of this tutorial you will be able to create this blog where you can read all the blog posts. You can search by categories. If you click on that, if there's no categories, you will see this page. There are blog posts, you can read them, and you can click and add post. This is like a read post. I'm just gonna do, this is the content of the post. You can update and read. Let's say Raja, and then let's give it a date and add the post, and it was added in the Python category, so you can see the post was added. You can read it, and then you can edit that post. You can say update it. You can update, you can search, you can go back, and you can even delete. If you delete the post, it comes back. Yes, there are 13 posts and it's gone. If you go and check, there is no post. So you will be able to do the CRUD operation. And if you don't have Python installed, I would suggest you install Python. You can go to the Python website. You can download, if you are running Mac or if you're running Windows, you can download the version 64-bit or 64-bit or 32-bit, and you need the PIP, the package manager. And if you have installed already, you could see in your console if you have Python, so I think I have Python 3. If you see, I have the Python version 3.14.2, and I need PIP. This is the package manager, and you will have to install Flask. So you can say pip3 install Flask, and then it will install. Since I already installed it, you can see the version. Let's go back and just see very quickly. So I have Python Flask already installed, so I'll go back to the files and I'll tell you and show you how easy it is to learn. Let me go to the lesson 1. So all you need is this couple of lines of code to create your first page. Basically, you are importing Flask object from the Flask package, the library, and you create the app in this line. And what you do, just don't worry about this name. It's just telling Flask where to look for the files, and then we have this decorator. This basically tells when somebody comes to on the root of the website what happens. Then it will execute this function, and when this function is executed, you can see this. Let me run the file and you will see that in action. Let me go and run that command for you. So basically what you do, you just go and run, sorry, I can't type today, Python 3 lesson 1.py. Oh, it says my port is busy, so let me change the port. Let me just clear the port so we can see that. Okay, let's go back and let me start that, and it is ready. So if I go in my browser, basically I will just go here because I can open the browser in my editor. You can see Flask tutorial. You can see all, so you can put all your HTML here, you can print anything, it will be right there. So let's go to the lesson 2 and you will see what I'm doing here. So I just copied this Bootstrap basic page. You can go on the Bootstrap website and copy this page, and then you can see this in action. So I just copied that, and you can copy it and you just observe these 3 triple quote. That's how you do multiple line of code when you want to return multiple lines. So if somebody comes on this route, it will be redirected to this function. This function will execute and it will return all this file. So if I go back and stop this and run this second number file, you will see what happens. So if I go and refresh the page, you can see hello world, and this is a bootstrap basic setup. And let me just show you one more thing. What you can do instead of copy and paste, because you might have like hundreds of pages, so you don't want to use raw HTML, so you can create your files. For that you have to use this object render template. So it already comes with the Flask library, so you get this render template object, and when somebody comes to the root, and you can redirect people to the index.html. So I have created the template folder, and in that I have index.html. So basically what I have done, I have written some bootstrap HTML. I will post this file on GitHub. You can see and copy and paste, or you can have your own HTML. So this is all static, plain simple HTML and written in bootstrap CSS. It's nothing fancy, it's very simple. So if I go back to, let me just stop this server and start this file, you should be able to see. Okay, let me refresh the browser page, and this is all static. So there is nothing dynamic on this, but nothing is working. If I click, see, nothing is working, it's all static. So you can see this is the basic HTML. Now what we'll do, we'll try to get this data dynamically. First I will show you how to get this data from the array dictionary, and then we will connect to database. And it's so easy, it's just a couple of lines of codes for each function, and you will see the magic. So let me go back to the next lesson, lesson number 4. So as you can see, if somebody goes to this route, I'm rendering index.html. Here I have a static block, which is basically what you are trying to do. I am calling this HTML file and also passing this variable blocks, and it has all the blocks that is coming from array of dictionary. So if you can see data, I have in this data folder, I have blocks.py file, and in that I am returning, I have this function that is returning the list of JSON object, you can say here, but it's a basically array of dictionary. So basically I am returning all this static, you can say static, or you can say JSON, and what it does, and then I can call this in my file like that, and then I can pass this to the template, because you don't want to have a template HTML template. You should be able to pass the data or titles and post through variables, and later you want to fetch this data not from array, but you will fetch this data from the database. Just for the example's sake, I am doing it. So I'm passing this variable block, and you will see how I'm doing it. So I'm open the file, I have this HTML file, so you can see it's all static so far, and I will just go to where I'm displaying all the blocks. So you can see the block and the length. So if you go and see, you can see the number of blocks here. It's showing 10. So let me close the server and load the next file, then you will see it might show, oh, there is something not working, no module data block. So no module name data block. Let's see what is missing here. Let's go and check data block. Data, okay, data blocks. Probably we don't have this. Let's see. Let me go and check. What is missing here? Data block. Let me just go and see, and I'll tell you what's wrong with that. Let me read the block, data block. Let's go and see the file. What is the problem? Oh, probably I think this is what is missing, because the file name is wrong. If I go back and start this lesson 4. Okay, it's running, so that was the problem. So now you will see data, and of course you are loading this on this file, so you have to go and write static block. So I'm gonna take this and run this. So now you can see there are 13 posts which are coming from this file. So this file has 13 posts, which is an array, which is an array of dictionary in Python, which you can go and check. We are not talking about that. It's a array. You can store multiple pieces of data in an array. So if you know a little bit of Python, this is going to help, but we can talk about this later. And I am going to see that, so you can see all of that here. So let's go to the file, and I'm just gonna do, I think, one more thing here, and I have one more thing to show. Let me go back to, I think, okay, blogs. So let's see. Okay. Okay, I think I wrong. That's fine. That's fine. Let's open the file number, lesson number 5. Okay, that's where it is. Now I see it. So let's open the file. I'll show you here how it is working. Let's open the. Let's load the lesson number 5. It's working, and I load the file here because we don't have any static. You can see we don't have any static blog here. That's why it's showing the error. I go back and change the URL. So if we go to the /blog, it should load. Okay, it shows we don't have add post. So let's see what's okay here. I think it's complaining about add blog. DB. Okay, I think it's complaining about this. So we have not loaded this. You see, so let me load this file, and it should work now.
It was looking for the function that was not there. As you can see, now I've loaded the file, and it's loading the blog, all 13 posts that are coming from this array, and is being displayed. When the URL is blog, what we are doing, we are passing the blogs and into this file. What I want to show is one more thing, that you might have so many pages, so you don't want to use the same header and footer, that code that is similar, like in our website here. Like we have this header and this common code that we are showing. So we can create layout, and Flask comes with the templating engine called Jinja, and you can create your layout. So what I did, I created a layout. So it has all the header and footer and all the common code that was on the side, as you can see here, the search box and the footer. So there is this piece of code. So what it does, the block content. So whatever block I write, it will be pasted here. So if I go to my lesson 5, you see blog.html. So I'm rendering blocks.html. And then when I create this file, blocks.html, let me open the file. So I call the layout. So this is my layout file. So what it does, it loads this file, and wherever it sees this tag, it loads that piece of HTML. So it comes here, and then it opens that file, and you can see this. I'm loading the layout, and then under the content block, this is where I'm looping the array here. So you get the blocks, it's the data that we're passing in blocks right here in this variable. And you can see we are just using the for loop and just looping through all the title, the excerpt, the date, the author, and we end the block. So that's how we can make it really very simple and reusable. So you have a layout, and in the layout, under this block content, you write your file, you write your CSS, whatever you want to write, and whenever it loads the file, it will paste this content into the file. And that's what is happening. So this is a very important thing that I wanted you to see. So now if you want to say some dynamic, let's say you want to get blog ID number 1 or 5, that's how you pass the argument. You can define it's an integer or it's a string. So here I'm expecting that it will be an integer. And what you do, you take the argument in the function that will be executed through this decorator. And what happens here, we check in the getBlog function if id matches the id that is being passed, and we capture that in the blog variable and we pass. If it is not null, if the id exists, we pass that blog into the template. If not, then we display this 401 page. Let's see how it is working. So if we go here and if I click on this, okay, edit post. So okay, one second. There is something, let me check one thing out here, why it is doing it. Layout file, let me see, it's looking for something that is not there. So I think it's probably, let's see, what was the error? Let's go and see. Let's go and read the error. Here. Let's go, if I go and read, it's trying to find the file edit post, and why it is trying to look for the edit post file if I'm loading this blog. Okay, I see what is happening. So when you creating this blog HTML and somewhere it is calling edit. Okay, this is where, let me just remove it for now and then we'll call it back later. So I'm just gonna remove it just for this tutorial, and then I will add it back later. So I hope this should solve the problem. Okay, let me go back to and refresh the page. Delete. Okay, of course there is one more. Let me remove that as well. So it works, and then we'll add that later. Let me save it. I'll go back and refresh. It should work now. Okay, here it goes. So this is exactly what is happening. So if you come to this blog, if you come to blog and pass the ID, we capture, we loop through the blog and see if the ID that is being passed through the URL, if it exists, then we take that blog into this variable and pass it along in the file blog.html. If not, then we pass, we render 401 for HTML file. Let's see that in action. So as you can see, blog 1, let's see if you see blog 4, it will load the blog 4. And let's see if I say 44, it doesn't exist, so it tells me 401 page. So that is exactly what is happening. So we can see this is working, and we are still using the layout file. So we're using layout, and in the block content, it replaces the whole content that is in the layout file, as I showed you right here. So let's go back and see there is one more function. Let's say now you want to load the blog by category. So you can see I am expecting a category here. So if the URL is block category and some category name, it will search through the dictionary. If it finds the category that is being passed in the argument, it captures the blog. It could have 1 or 2 posts. So if they exist, we pass the blogs into the template. If not, we render 401 HTML. So let's see if that is working. We go back here. I click on Python. We exist. There is 2 posts. So as you can see, Flask, there is nothing in here. Django, there is 1 post. JavaScript, there is 1 post. React, there is 1 post. So you could see that in action. So that is what it's about. There is 1 more lecture. And in that video, we'll talk about how to make it dynamic, to call the same thing, but not from array dictionary, but we'll get this from SQLite database. That's very easy. And let me load that file. and then you will be able to let me stop this server and let me load the last file, and you will be seeing, oh sorry, I think I did the same file. Let me load file number 6, and in this file we will see everything is same. So what is happening, if we go to the blog, it loads the get blocks, but here you will see that I'm loading these files from the database. So what I have here, I created this data.py file. So in this file I'm using this library SQLite, and then here you give the path to the database, and I have the database already ready, which I will pass it along in the GitHub file. So here's the database. If I open it, you will be able to see there are 13 blocks. That's different than this file. So here we have blog post in the array. You can see that, and here in this file it's a SQLite database which I'm connected, and it has same data, so there is no confusion. It's the same thing, but this this data will come from database. So as you can see the database in this db file, what I'm doing, I'm just passing the database connection. For the connection, I'm giving the file path here. It tells the which directory where the path is. You can see blog.db. Here is the database. You can have your own database, or you can use the same database. And what this function does, it basically gets the path of the database. It sees if it exists. If not, then it will throw that error. If it exists, then SQLite, it connects with the path, and it loads that, and it gets a connection with cursor, and then if we run this query, select all blogs from the blog table, order by ID, and it executes. It fetches all the record, stores that in the row, and we loop through the row, and we save that in the array, and then we return the blog. And if we search by ID, we pass the ID, we make the connection, we give the path, and we say maybe we want to get the blog from this ID. You can write this SQL query. When we get the blog, we fetch the data, and we pass the row. And same thing we do with the category. So query changes here. If the category is mentioned as being passed, then we can fetch the details. There might be more, so we have to run a for loop here, and then we pass the blogs, and then here's the query that adds the blog. So same thing, we give the path, we create the connection, and here is the query that inserts the data. It's a simple SQL query, and we pass this data, which is being passed from the file here. Let me show you how it works. So basically we call this file, as you can see, data.db. We have this function add block. So let's see if we go to where is it being added. So when it posts, if we go to the file, let's see, add post. So this is the basic HTML. We are giving the URL where it has to go after it is submitted, and then when it is submitted, it comes to this file. It checks here. Basically, we are seeing if it is get, it loads the HTML file, but if it is post, we check here, then we capture all that form data using the request object, which is available in the Flask. You can see here, redirect and request, and then we take all these data from the form and pass it to the add block function, which is right here. db.py add block, which you can see block title, block author, date, accept, and the category, and it executes the function, it commits, and then it saves. And same we do with the edit block and delete query, and this will delete the blog post. So that's how it is done. It's very simple. You will have the code available on GitHub. You can see, you can modify it. This is the delete function right here, as we have already seen how it is working in the beginning of the tutorial. Let me just show you once more. Yeah, let me do one thing that was missing, let me put this thing back so we can add it and delete. So these links are working. I will go back. Let's see if the links are working. Add post. This link is not working. Let me go to the layout file and let me add the link add post here. And you can see I'm using the Flask available object URL 4, so we don't have to worry about the URL. It already finds the site root and then adds the add post in the route. So let's see if it is working. You can see here add post. So when the URL is add post, this is executed. Let me see, let me refresh it, and the add post, this add post HTML is happening. Let me add a title, post content. Let's add Zango, author, let's say Peter, and add a date. Today is 18, and add. And voila, it's added. So we added that in Zango. You can see the post content. Here you can see, you can read it, you can edit that, post updated, and you can update that, and the post is updated. And also, if you click on that, it should delete. So now if we go back to Zango, that is being deleted. So it's a simple blog, a CRUD operation done in Flask. It's so easy. All the codes are available. If you have any question, please let me know in the comment and I'll come back. And probably I can make a video tutorial to explain each line of code, which I think I was assuming that you know a little bit of Python. So it's easy. And yeah, today's with the help of AI and stuff, you don't have to have your own code. You can ask, you can generate the code, but it's good to understand what is happening line by line. And I think it's easy to understand. It's not very complex. It's very simple, basic CRUD operation. I hope this helps. Thank you very much.